Okay, perfect. All right. And Mr. Sholley, I guess you're out here tonight to confront the congressman over healthcare reform?
Well, not exactly. I was interviewed by WBSM 1420 AM, the Ken Pittman show. That was from 4:30 to 5. We just had an interview. I'm not sure if I'm going to go inside. I'm sure most of this will be canned. The questions are going to be predetermined. It's only going to last for an hour and a half. I may sit in on it, but I don't think it's appropriate for me. This is a serious issue, healthcare reform. But I personally think that it's a prescription for disaster. We don't want government health care. The people in this country don't want health care run by the government. They don't even want the government to take their temperature. And people are sick and tired of politicians. That's what the real problem is here. And I think most people are happy with their health care system. Reform means just that. It means making some improvements. There are some problems. But why is not the law firm of Obama, Biden, Dodd, and Frank talking about tort reform? That's the issue. When they say that in Europe it's we're paying twice what they're paying in Europe, it's mostly tort reform. That's the difference. It's the medical malpractice. It's the high cost of litigation. They tell me that we have 4.5% of the world's population and 70% of the world's lawyers, and that it costs us 15 cents in every dollar here in America. In other countries, it's less than a penny on the dollar.
All right. Well, without getting into the details of the healthcare debate, because we could do that all night. But let me ask you this: this is one of the most liberal states in the country. You're in one of the more liberal districts of one of the more liberal states in the country. This got to be a tough district for a Republican to win it.
Well, this is a tough district, but keep in mind that Ronald Reagan won this state twice. And he did it by communicating his message, by sticking to the party platform, adhering to principles, and organizing at the grassroots level. He got 40% of the so-called lunch pail Democrats to vote for him.
But don't you think this is an audience that's tailor-made for Barney Frank?
Well, it is, but you're at the end of the district. Of course, the big city is New Bedford. That's the biggest city in the district. But there are a lot of towns, 6 towns out of the 29 in this district voted for John McCain. And another 9 towns came close within 5 or 6 percentage points of voting for John McCain. The town that I live in, Norfolk, Massachusetts, which is in the district, of course, has voted for a Republican for president.
So this is doable, is what you're saying.
It is doable. I think it's very doable.
The reason why I ask is because it seems to me that this would be the sort of district where national health care reform would be very popular. Am I wrong about that?
Well, again, reform is not a radical transformation of our health care system. Most people are happy with the care that they receive. Look, we already have a single-payer system. That Barney Frank is pushing that, 93 other co-sponsors, 90 so co-sponsors, especially the Progressive Caucus in Washington. They're pushing a single-payer system. We can't afford a single-payer system. We already have one. It's called Medicare. It's $87 trillion in unfunded mandates. We can't pay for that. How are we going to put everybody on Medicare and pay for that system? Where's the money coming from?
Did you see the little tidbit on YouTube of Barney Frank talking to somebody with a single-payer action organization? And he said that having a good public option would be a great way to achieve a single-payer system. Are you going to challenge him on that statement during the upcoming campaign?
Well, I probably will. Again, I'm not here tonight to challenge him. I think this is a forum and people are concerned about the government tinkering with their healthcare system. And I think at every forum that I've been to, I was at the forum for Nikki Songas that she had in Chelmsford, Mass. just recently, and there were a lot of people there. In fact, there were 300 people inside. They turned away another 400, 500 people. People waited in line that was 100 yards long for an hour after they told them they couldn't get in, and they were going to have another one. People are very much concerned. They do not want the government running their healthcare system. They don't trust them. How are you going to trust people who've given us the Ponzi scheme of Social Security, the cost overruns of the Big Dig, the chronic financial problems of the post office? How can you expect them or trust them to run our healthcare system?
But doesn't this state have a healthcare program? From what I'm reading here in Massachusetts, it seems to be going well. Is that not the case?
That is not the case. I mean, the main selling point in this was a reduction of cost. There are 3 states that have tried this now. Maine was the first. They wanted to get more people under coverage. 6 years later, they only have an additional 3% of people on coverage. In Massachusetts, they said it was going to lower the cost. The costs have gone up by 23%, they tell me. And I'm guessing it's much more than that because they're hiding it. We're already looking at a budget deficit of about $2 billion in this state. It's been implemented in Tennessee. It just has not worked.
Even though it was a Republican governor who pushed it through, right? Mitt Romney pushed it through.
Well, that's true, and I hate to say it, but some people refer to it as Romney care because they don't like it. There are a lot of Republicans who are not happy with it, and it hasn't done.
Think
what
it could hurt him in the future?
I think it will hurt him. I really do. I like Mitt. I mean, I was a big supporter of his, and I voted for him. I wish he had stayed here and run for a second term as governor, because I think the state would be much better off right now than it is.
And you don't believe in any of that death panel stuff or anything like that, do you? That's part of this?
Well, look, it might be a huge leap to get to that point, but if they're going to be rationing, we know they're going to be long lines because we've seen it in other countries. If we're looking at rationing and then all of a sudden already they're going to have end-of-life counseling, we already know that that's in the bill. There's already a paragraph in there about that.
But that's counseling, not.
We already have a state that's
not making decisions on whether somebody.
Well, yeah, but still, it's counseling. But we already have a state, Oregon, that provides for physician-assisted suicide. What's the next step? Euthanasia. All you got to do is look at the Netherlands and see how far they've gone over there. And so I don't think it's a huge leap. I
You don't think it's a stretch pulling the plug on grandma?
Well, I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but if somebody has to wait for care for 3 years, the nice thing about our healthcare system right now is that our elderly, our seniors, I'm a senior myself. I'm 61. I'm going to be 62, okay? So I worry about this myself. I'm in reasonably good health, but I have a mother who's going to be 82 years of age. She's in great shape. She still mows her own lawn, and she's going strong. But what if something happens to her, and what if she needs an operation, and they're saying, well, you're not a priority, you're going to have to wait 2 or 3 years. Well, that's unacceptable. And right now, they're the first priority in our system. The elderly and our seniors are number one priority. If we implement this kind of a system, they're not going to be on the priority list anymore. They might not even be on the list at all.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Sholley.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Jim.
talking to you.
It's my pleasure.
Two shot.